Hi, my name is Andrew Kinney. I'm an attorney. I've done Social Security disability work for over 20 years. Welcome to Social Security 101. This is the third class. In these short videos, my goal is to explain Social Security from beginning to end, and to do it in a way because I can only help so many people. We work nationally, and I do about 350 or so hearings a year myself. I'm happy to explain the process. Today, we're going to talk about, with Social Security, well, how do you win? There's a lot more to it, but these are the basics here, and I want to lay this out. There are different steps we talked about in the last video. The application step, the reconsideration step, the hearing, and appeals counsel. These steps or levels of appeal have to happen in a certain order. Some states do not have the reconsideration stage, just so you know. And again, to remind you, if there's a denial with an application, if there's a denial, then there is an appeal period that's laid out in the paperwork. You have to appeal within a certain time frame unless there's a good reason. At each level here, ultimately what Social Security is doing is looking at your medical records. Well, they can look at your medical records all you want. One, they need to know where they are. So make sure that you're clear about where you've treated, especially if you have an MRI that's not where your doctor is located. That information, especially objective information like that, or let's say you have some psychological testing for a county or something else, all that information needs to be in your Social Security claim. If you go on your own, you need to make sure that Social Security has it, or you get an attorney to help you. We help people at the application forward. For a Social Security claim, how to win at each step. At the application stage, roughly a third of people are approved. That means 2/3 of the people either appeal or give up. At the application stage, the best way to get approved is, one, and through all these stages, have the doctors make sure all your records are in from your doctors. Okay. The second way to win is to make sure not only that you're treating appropriately, but you're mentioning all the different problems you have, so doctors are documenting the problems. Okay. 3, you can ask input from your doctor in the form of a letter or a form about how you're limited physically and mentally. 5, at the application stage, you can also ask your treating doctor, can you make sure my records are clear about how I'm limited? That way your treating records also include comments about your ability to walk, stand, sit, lift, carry, concentrate, handle stress, etc. That clarification can make sure that the state agencies that make decisions at the first 2 levels get it between the eyes. They like to ignore people. They look at listings. For instance, in pulmonary listings, breathing listings or definitions of disability. If someone's breathing tests, pulmonary function tests, aren't quite up to snuff with the numbers, they like to ignore that they have any problems. And that's wrong, and that's error. So, at the application stage, make sure all the records are in from what we talked about. At the reconsideration stage, if you're denied at application stage, then you know there's, at least for the state agencies involved that are doing Social Security's filtering out. At the reconsideration stage, something new has to happen. If you have something that you haven't treated for, you need to treat for. If you've had an MRI or an X-ray that was pending and you didn't get to it, well, you need to do it. You need to show Social Security through the state agency that there's something new, and this is where forms can come in. We get people that have been denied an application. That's what we do to try to get a reconsideration approval. Don't despair though. It's a fairly useless step. It's meant, in my opinion, over the years, to just have people give up. Don't give up. And if, by the way, if you can work, you should work. Working is better. At the hearing level, which takes a long time to get, the best way to be approved for a hearing, and I might sound biased, but I'm not, is to have an attorney with you that's experienced. You can have an attorney that does general practice. That might sound good, but you need to find an attorney that's been doing Social Security hearings perhaps 3 or 5 years, or is dedicated to doing hearings. One way or the other, you're going into a hearing room trying to describe what's wrong with you under oath, and they're experts in the hearing, and there's cross-examination. So the best way to win at the hearing level is to make sure that you don't have to worry about what to ask experts or what legal arguments to make to a judge. That's what lawyers are for. The final step, the appeals counsel, it's set up in a way that they're not very responsive. It's hard to get feedback, if any, from them. But the best way to be approved if you appeal a hearing denial at the appeals counsel is to write a brief, write an argument what errors were made at the hearing. If you have an attorney at the hearing, that's what you ask your attorney to do with the appeals counsel, is identify the errors that they would have locked in on the record. So what happens at a hearing is tailored, if it's denied, to be able to allow you to make arguments to the appeals counsel. The appeals counsel's in writing, that brief in writing. You can appeal to appeals counsel and do nothing and wait a year and see if they catch errors, or your attorney or you can point out what are the problems that happened at the hearing. Make it fairly short and direct, but they have to be legitimate errors. They have to be errors in ignoring a medical opinion. They have to be errors in ignoring treating opinion in the record or treating records. They have to be errors in credibility, that the judge didn't adequately evaluate your believability or credibility. But anyway, these are ways, basic ways, to be able to win at each step. If you have any questions, you can call the number at the bottom of our screen. Thank you.